And hello, everybody. We're live now. We had a little bit of technical issues, but we are fairly close to on time. Actually, I'm shocked by how well that actually did turn out.
That could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, that could have been a lot worse.
Almost.
All right. So, why don't we have a introduction from all of you? You are all. Oh no, I've messed up the overlay, and I didn't realize it. I will fix it while Crunk or Than introduces himself.
Hey, what's up? I'm Than Rand everywhere on the internet, and tonight I am playing Krunk, the half-orc barbarian, who is actually really smart now.
I mean, you weren't exactly like.
Oh, I was really dumb.
Yeah, was
It is.
I don't know.
Intelligence
maybe
is
it's
still
more like,
my.
I don't know if you're smart now or if you're just psychic.
Okay, I'll tell you right now, I got a +6 to my intelligence score, and it's still
Really?
my fourth highest point score.
However, I believe he has the highest intelligence of the entire party now.
Yes, I am the smartest.
Yeah, that's probably true.
And Denise, unfortunately, is not with us right now. We have Capjack. Who are you? What do you do?
I am Capjack, or at Captain J. Cross on the Twitters, and tonight I'll be playing the Tiefling Warlock Lucian.
And someone very generous has given advantage to win.
Dang, already?
Yes.
Nice.
Some person named Captain J. Cross.
Who is
here.
that?
I don't know who that is, but
Who could that be?
Sounds
speaking
like a
of which,
weirdo.
who are you?
So hey, I'm One Samachan, or at Mimic Samachan on Twitter, and I'm going to be playing Win, the Dwarfen Cleric.
Nice.
Yeah.
I am Shogun, and I will be running this game, and I think we're going to try and do one last relaxed prep session before we go into some
Plot.
yeah,
Plot.
plot. Some daring dungeon crawling that we'll be doing later. Some potentially dangerous things, maybe. We'll see.
Juicy stuff.
Yeah, we'll see about that, because you've all been pretty good at taking down nearly everything that I throw at you without much issue.
Yes, but like you said, Krunk is now the smartest one of our group, so perhaps you can go that way and just like throw some smart puzzles at us,
That, yes.
and
as
then
well.
we'll fail.
What is you could just throw something else, like, I don't know, what is the fruit of love? To which the obvious answer,
I thought we
ice
went
cream
over
pizza.
this.
It's totally ice cream pizza.
I'm pretty sure it's spaghetti and garlic bread, but
Close second. All right.
When you see this, I love you.
When we start this session, where do all of you want to be? The Mimic Knights. Where are you at? Physically.
They all went gallivanting about.
Yes.
Yes, we did.
I think Lucian would have been back at the castle planning a reception.
Aw.
All right.
Krunk would be getting received.
Yeah, I would say that this is that sort of thing. We'll say Denise has gone off to go visit her home, so kind of took a sidetrack, left the two.
Used up some of her PTO. She had accrued.
And so just Win and Krunk are returning to the Mimic Knight's castle. And what does Lucian have prepared for them?
Oh, it wasn't for them?
Oh, okay.
But we totally think it is.
we think it is.
Oh, that's totally gonna happen. All right. No, he's preparing preparing a nice section of the castle for his mother's arrival, whenever that winds up being.
Okay. In that case, like, a couple of mimics will, like, blow confetti around, just saying hi.
And we'll be like, whoa, we weren't gone that long.
It's awesome.
No,
Is all this food for us? Denise isn't even here.
No, it's it's for my mother when she arrives.
I'm still going to eat some of it.
I honestly figured.
It's a little,
Go on. I mean, we can always make more. Please, please, go on. We don't want it spoiling.
Is it gonna stay
I mean, we could just
until
make
she
more.
gets here? Is she supposed to be here soon? Do you have like an hour?
I was just preparing in advance. You never know.
I find all the breakfast-related foods and eat them.
There's little like pancake muffins, or it's like a pancake, but in the center of it is like nice warm maple syrup.
It's like a McGriddle, but good.
Delicious.
Good.
It's a thing I actually make, so hey, why not?
Okay, yep, that makes sense.
Full disclosure, I fucking love McGriddles.
Oh god.
I mean,
So,
Actually, a notable thing for Lucian would be that a bit ago, maybe like an hour or so ago, the Bone Keeper left the castle and has not returned yet.
I thought he came back before us.
He started on his journey back, but you actually managed to travel faster than him due to the carriage you have and due to something else that's going on.
so where are all of you?
In the mountains.
Oh,
We had an adventure with a tall guy and that one that was like rolling everywhere. What was up with
There was,
that?
like, a cat guy.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, he kept
Telling
doing
you.
like, he was all like, get under cover, and then he would like duck, and it was kind of funny. I liked him.
He was like way more intense than he needed to be, and it was great.
Yeah, it was pretty great.
But then we like
And then there was
we
the
killed
tall
the
guy
dragon.
with the tree.
Oh yeah, he had a staff that was like a tree, and it could become different things. It was really cool.
That was really cool.
Made me
Wait,
kinda-
back up to the dragon part. You killed a dragon.
Oh yeah. I killed the
Yeah,
dragon. I
yeah.
jumped out of the cave and smashed his face.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was
brilliant.
really
It
epic.
was really
It was like,
cool.
like the dragon was like, "Rah," and then Krunk was like, and then
It's exactly how it happened.
Excellent. Did the Bone Keeper help you?
no, he showed
No,
up
but
after.
he showed up. Yes, he came after.
Yeah, he came and he took the bones of it, and I guess the rest of it too.
But Wynn got really, really sweet scales.
Heck yes. I'm gonna take them and I'm gonna make an armor with it, and then I'm gonna feed it to my armor.
Show him the scales.
Look,
Now check it out.
and
These
they're,
are
like, white.
red dragon scales.
And
But they're,
Lucian
like,
would see
white.
just these bleach white, like snow white dragon scales.
Believe it or not, those are red dragon scales.
Fire and everything.
Are they?
Something albino something.
Oh, it's albino. An albino red dragon.
Yeah, it's pretty
Fascinating.
rare, I guess.
Oh, that must have been a great. Oh, it probably tricked people into using fire on it. Brilliant.
We
Hmm.
kicked his ass.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's fine.
none of us have elemental attacks,
Yeah.
do we?
No, we totally
No.
don't.
The three of you would hear the flapping of the Bone Keeper's wings outside. This is a familiar sound. He lives here. And you hear the heavy, heavy beats of his wings, and then a crash, like a heavy thump, crashing sound of like, it feels like a building fell over outside.
Is that par for the course, or is this?
That
unique?
is not.
Ooh.
He usually like very gracefully dives into where he lives.
Did he dump all the bones outside? Oh, good lord. Come on.
Let's go check it out.
Yeah.
Outside, you would find the Bone Keeper, this green dragon, off to the side, panting as though exhausted, and right next to him, the corpse of a bright white dragon laying on the ground.
See, red dragon.
Sit down.
I open its eye for him, so he can see that it's red.
Well, no, its eye is like
pink.
it's,
I guess.
no, yeah, it's like pink, which is a bit weird as well. Yeah.
Can I open its mouth? Can you see what if it's got the little flame thingies in it?
I wouldn't know anything about that.
You open its mouth and it's just holding a flint and steel in its throat.
I don't think that's how that works. The
Little
main
guy in there just.
It's like a little gnome. What? Busy.
That is very Gravity Falls.
God, it is.
Maybe you lock.
No, the Lucian, do you want to roll nature?
Sure, I'm good at that.
I should open roll 20. That's a thing I should
Rolled
do.
a 10.
I got a 10.
Oh, okay, well, a 10. Well,
He got a 50. It was great.
Since you've been told the answer to this question, they've already told you the answer to the question, so you can figure it out with a 10. You're like, yeah, no, this is a bright white dragon, but also look at the head. It's not like what a white dragon should be like. Like, white dragons are all sleek and smooth, and they've got a very kind of spearhead-shaped head. Instead, this is more like blocky, like the head of a really, really tough alligator or something.
Dragon.
Yeah, it like a red dragon. It's got spikes on its chin and some small horns and stuff, like ridged spikes along it.
Sharp, pointy teeth.
Yeah, whereas you're certain that a white dragon would be a lot more sleek.
Well, So, Bonekeeper, are you going to use the skin and everything else? I might have use for that, if that's all right.
Yeah, the eyes might be useful. We can make potions or something. Or sell them.
Well, I'm quite exhausted from carrying a beast larger than me. Several hundred miles.
Well done.
So, I'm going to rest. Have at dissecting it however you would like. I'll take whatever remains. And
Oh, perfect.
crawls past you into the tunnel underneath the castle. So
Is
you've
there
just got a
In...
dragon there, dead one.
Is there anyone in the castle that would know what bits of dragon would be useful for crafting, I guess?
For casting, I would know. Crafting?
You would know that. You know how to build stuff.
I'm going to say for certain, you know people who do. Not just indirectly, you know individuals and organizations that could help you with this.
Okay.
There's Jonesy, there's
Belmont and the...
Belmont, yes.
The Dragon Crafter Guild.
Hold on, I actually have names. We still need to get our painting from Kane, by the way. Let's see.
Oh,
I should
yeah.
definitely reach out to Etwan. He could tailor some delightful things out of scales for me. Oh, brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we could make new outfits for everyone, and we'll each have a scale or something on it, like a badge. Oh, we could get this. We could make them into little badges with our symbol on it.
What is our symbol?
A mimic, right?
Oh yeah.
Or the badge can be a mimic. Ah,
Is it though? You'll never know
exactly.
until it's too late.
Exactly. It's perfect. Speaking of, so he's going to let his bracer get a taste of dragon.
Mm.
Okay. Why don't you roll me a d20? Just a flat d20. See what we get. An 11.
Yeah.
Good rolls today, huh?
Okay. Your bracer has managed to steal an ability from this creature. I don't think it's a broken power making it immune to fire. Still doesn't affect you, just the bracer. But the bracer's immune to fire.
Fine.
Just a little bit of help.
Cool.
So my armor.
Yes.
I have to feed it already made armor,
Yes.
or can I just feed it the scales?
It
Because
has
they're
to be
made
fed,
armor.
actually, very specifically, it has to be fed magical armor. If you just make scale armor, it's still no good. It needs to be magical armor for it to be able to absorb its properties.
Magical scale armor?
Yes, which is totally a
doesn't
thing.
Doesn't dragon scale have magical properties?
Sort of,
Isn't
but
that
the
idea?
there's let me put it this way. There's physical properties to the scales, such as being immune to fire, that will apply no matter what you do to them. You just duct tape them to a shield and they will still be immune to fire. No matter what you do to them. But then the actual magical stuff is mostly pertinent to the actual dragon himself who knows magic. Which he doesn't anymore because he's dead.
Yes,
A little.
it makes sense.
Okay.
I'm gonna say you lose magical abilities once you pass the mostly dead mark.
Funny.
So, I would think Lucian would send one of the mimic messengers to get his personal tailor from the Dwarven City, send him through the portal, and also grab a smith from there so they can come and extract what's necessary.
Do we want to just go there?
Also sorry, I was getting mixed up in my head. Repeat what you said. Sorry.
Oh, I actually like Krunk's idea more. Could we just take this to the Dwarven City through the portal? Actually, that is a good question. Can we?
I think it's more like, should we take an entire dead dragon through the portal? I feel like bringing them here is better.
Yeah, no, I don't believe you're able to bring a person or bring a corpse like that. Something that's I mean, maybe
It's pretty big.
I feel like if it was a
I'm
corpse.
basically gonna say you can't bring something. I'm gonna set a solid rule that we can go on from now on. It has to be either you-sized or smaller.
Interesting. Or able to be like, I want to be transported.
Yeah. If it can consciously want to go with you, then you don't have to worry about that. It's a non-living thing, has to be either you-sized or smaller.
Cool.
So, making Krunk basically the best person at transporting things.
So we have to cast like a enhanced enlarged spell on Krunk.
If it can last for an hour, yes.
Well, it just has to happen right at the end.
True. As long as the enlarged spell is not a concentration spell, because that would break the concentration of the person casting it, which prevents you from, because teleporting in specifically this scenario requires your concentration. So just be aware of that. But yeah, if you just want to transport there, a cart can be made. That's okay.
Yeah, summoning them here seems like a better
Or
idea.
you can totally bring them.
Plus, it's more of a power move. You come to me.
It's like,
true.
well, Lucian does have a personal tailor from the dwarves.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So shall I get the regular tailor for the rest of you as well?
Yes. Yes.
Actually, do you want to? Because if you want to actually recruit that tailor to, oh wait, no, didn't he say that once you got things set up, he had some cousins he would send with you to set up a remote shop?
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you can beckon them to come, and they'll stay at the castle.
And start.
Perfect. You know, this is the perfect time for them to show up to do that, and then look at it working out.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, they are dwarven tailors, which means they are experts at metal crafting. Because dwarven clothing is a very, very, very broad industry, and includes a lot of different armors as well. So yeah, if you want, they will make Win a suit of magical scale armor. Is there?
Oh, go ahead.
They have basically the ability to say, do you want it to be, they can try to draw out some of the natural abilities of this dragon. Do you want it to be more useful or dangerous?
My interest is piqued. What do you mean dangerous?
That's all they can give you, because it's kind of experimental what they're doing. So that's all they can give you.
What are they attempting to do? Just make me on fire all the time?
No. It's what they're going to try and do is just draw kind of the latent powers of the dragon, kind of revive a bit of its power, of its magic, and put that back into the scales, hopefully, to give you a little bit of abilities, so they can either lean into kind of the general awesomeness of dragons, or they can specifically towards its dangerous power. What do you want them to draw on?
The power. No, I want to. Let's take risk.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So they are going to make that for you. That'll take a little bit, so we can do some stuff in the meantime, but they will present your armor shortly. And they will deal with dissecting the dragon, taking it apart, removing everything that the Bone Keeper's not going to want, and categorizing and itemizing it. So, they've got the eyes over in some jars, and all the organs organized, and the skin and scales and claws and teeth and all that organized. Although, actually, they leave the teeth because Bone Keeper wants that. So yeah, anything else y'all want, since the tailors are here anyway?
You know what? Yes.
Somehow I thought there was going to be a response to that. I just knew it.
I'm wondering if they would be able to make a dragon mask out of this.
What is I explain your intent a bit more. What do you want?
Well, it's an actual D&D item.
Oh, well, let me look at that then.
Yeah. I guess in this case it would be a red dragon mask.
But it will be white. A white red dragon mask.
Brilliant. Yeah.
Then they'll think you're wearing a white dragon mask, and they're like, "Oh, that's just a white dragon mask." And then, it's a red dragon mask. They didn't see it coming. That's how you get them.
Okay. Oh. That's.
He says,
Okay.
This is why I asked.
Draconic Mastery. Or no, Draconic Majesty. While you are wearing no armor, you can add your charisma bonus to your armor class. You are a warlock. That is broken.
Woof.
Actually, what would it change my mind to right now? Because right now I'm wearing +1 armor, +1 studded leather. If I took that off,
Drop mine tremendously.
it would give me a +2 AC.
+2 to where you're currently at. What would that leave you at?
17.
Yeah.
Which,
That's
yeah,
not
That's
bad.
that's
That's decent.
so many more wardrobe changes.
You know what? You're all. I'm wanting to kind of get across now that you are all kind of hitting the point of being legendary figures in this world. So yes, but also no at the same time, because in this universe, dragon masks don't exist yet.
Ooh.
You're inventing the first dragon mask. So tell me what it actually does. Like, obviously it does the obvious stuff of you get a breath attack, you get you get to speak with dragons and whatnot, and you get their dark vision, but like what's really cool about it? What like you can be like, okay, instead of dragon breath, it can temporarily give you wings to fly, or like what sounds appropriate to the way that Lucian views dragons. What does he see as the greatest aspect of dragons?
Their ability to create fear.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah. So have that like aura of power and fear around them.
Yeah, that's a straight up mechanic that dragons have.
Yeah.
Adult red.
Help when we
Dragon?
deal with unruly assholes.
There. Let me pull that up. Exactly the rules of it is frightful presence. Each creature of the dragon's choice that is within 120 feet. We might reduce that a little bit.
Big area.
Of the dragon and aware of it must succeed on a DC 19, which would just be your your DC. Wisdom saving throw, or become frightened for 1 minute. A creature must repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success. If a creature's saving throw is successful or the effect ends for it, the creature is immune to the dragon's frightful presence for the next 24 hours. That is totally workable. Like, yeah. No, that works. We just replace the 120 feet with more like 60, and the DC is just your spell resistance DC.
Cool.
So just go up, grab a dragon from the Roll20 compendium, adult dragon, and just copy that trait. And then for the mask, I think we're going to switch, because the thing is, you don't really need the breath attack. You are more powerful than the breath attack itself, so I don't think you actually need it.
We already have one.
Yeah. You're fine. So replace the dragon breath with that, and
What
then just copy the dragon mask for a red dragon, and that's what you get. Again, it'll take a little bit. It'll arrive to you when Wynn's armor is done. It'll all happen at the same time.
That's awesome. Like, super awesome.
I'm thinking I need to make like a symbol for myself. I was hoping you guys could sort of help me through that.
Hell yeah.
So I was thinking like a scroll or a stone tablet sort of symbol, and then like on that have like pictures of, like, I was thinking maybe, I don't know, like, that's where I was stuck, is like, I'm like, what should I put on it? Like, because obviously like the scroll or the stone tablet is the like memory part, and then should I put like obviously party poppers don't exist, so like an overflowing wine cup, or like maybe a feast of some kind, like
Breakfast
something to represent
meats?
like a
I think a goblet, like a goblet, an overflowing goblet would probably work.
A goblet overflowing with eggs. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. And
I would like for my armor to like sort of have that symbol on it.
all right, definitely. And
I'm
I
going
just
to
wanna check
make my
some
girlfriend
stuff.
draw it because I can't draw. And she can draw really good.
Alrighty.
And do I need to have a church?
No, not yet.
Oh, not yet.
Not
Okay.
yet. Don't worry about that yet.
We'll get to that though. Okay.
It's like wait until people start asking for it, and then you give them what they want.
Krunk, for you, the tailors say that they could make they could use components from the dragon and make an adjustment to some of your equipment.
Okay.
They think particularly they could make your sword better.
Cool. I like that
if you
idea.
wanted.
Yes, I want the better sword. Yes.
Okay.
Still
They'll-
really good, but if I can make it better, yes.
They'll work on that.
Cool.
Yeah.
I have to leave it with them, right?
Yeah, they'll hang on to it. And actually, they ask for a bit of your blood as well to truly bind it to you.
Here you go.
Yes, it's not a big deal for...
I'm not concerned. I don't care. I have plenty of blood.
I make my own.
I make my own. It's a constantly regenerating supply. It's okay.
Yep.
Homegrown, free-range crunk blood.
Free range crunk blood. Cage free.
Free. Grass-fed.
Grass fed.
Breakfast-fed.
Bacon fed crunk blood.
High
Oh my
protein.
God.
So, what do you do while you wait for your stuff to be completed? What are the three of you interested in doing in the meantime?
Get bored.
Let's see.
Can I
So we've
start?
got that big arena in the works out on the outskirts of the
Uh-huh.
castle.
Oh.
Are we having? Is anyone else building anything around here yet, or are we gonna wait for the arena to bring in the tourism, to bring in the shops, to bring in the people?
Some camping, like some tents have set up. The Wildsman tradespeople have shown up and like just set up some tents around there to like sell some stuff to the workers.
Love those guys.
But nothing permanent
Nothing big
yet.
Okay. I don't know. What else is around? Is there anything else we need to like?
I think this
deal with?
point right here is very, very dangerous. Because half of the supervillains and evil overlords get to the point where they're really terrifying when they're like, oh, everything's so boring. I own the world and now I don't know what to do.
Hmm?
But we're not evil.
Oh, yeah, right.
Well, Wind's not evil. Chaotic, not evil.
I am neutral. Chaotically.
Yeah, I think I'm actually. Yeah, I'm chaotic good. So.
Okay. And I pat her head.
All right, if you can't think of anything, I have a thing.
Okay.
Yeah?
Do you have like a gurgling
I'm
hideout?
still writing stuff.
Right.
Oh,
We
from
also
that
visit Steve. It's been a while. Is Steve back?
Well, actually, speaking of which, a mimic runs, and this would be one of the like little butler mimics, the little worker ones that are even shorter than a gnome, rushes out to you and says, something has appeared in the plaza room. I didn't touch it because I was concerned what it might be, but something has appeared there without you, doing anything. It's not supposed
Without
to do that.
saying a word, I just get up and start going because I am so bored.
Okay. We're like, thank you, and then like follow him.
All right, so make sure that when you're working, I'll be right there. Oh God, right. Make sure it has to glitter like diamonds. All right, I'll be right there. That was instructions to the tailor.
In the room, you find a very large envelope, like the size that you would keep tax forms in, like
Novelty
big,
check.
big
Oh,
envelope.
you mean, like thick, not like
Novelty check.
not like.
Publishers Clearinghouse shit.
We won. We didn't even apply. It doesn't even
No,
exist.
it's like those office manila envelopes,
Okay.
that size.
I hope there's no like anthrax in it.
I open it.
What? You said we're evil.
I look inside.
Inside, you find a letter and a metal spiked ring. The ring is like you would be you could be mistaken. No. You could be mistaken for thinking it's a collar. It's like a dinner plate around.
I am really big, so it's
Yes. With spikes going along the outside, you'd think it's maybe iron or something.
Have like a hinge?
No, it does not.
Oh, it's just
It's just a ring.
lick it.
Don't lick it. Did you learn your lesson? I guess.
It's like iron.
Where's that thingy? Detect magic.
Yes. Where did this come from?
This was in here too, and I pull out the letter.
What level is
May I? I guess. What language is it in?
It is in common.
I
Okay.
guess
It says that due to outside forces, I am unable to perform my normal services at this time. Use this for exchange of services instead. Signed, Steve.
What?
What?
And you see
I put a coin in.
yes, and when you drop the coin through, as it passes through the threshold of it, it disappears. As if passing through a portal.
Hey, Lucian.
Yes. Oh, I have a terrible idea.
Put it on your neck.
Me!
it's not going to fit over my head. Do you see this thing?
I just want to point out, Ian, did you really just
What
ask
disease
me
is it here?
to put a collar on?
Okay, I didn't think about
It's
that. I was
true.
thinking fun head portal, but okay. Okay, give it.
I'm going to stick my
No,
hand through it and see what
I'll
happens.
totally do it. That was really funny, though. Oh, if my head doesn't come back, this is going to be very awkward, though. Okay, and
For everyone.
And you just look silly because nothing happened.
Okay, well.
I don't get
more
it.
money, I guess?
Although something slams into your nose because you have it over your face, and then something tried to come through, so something bops into your nose. And it's a flask, a glass flask, looks very much like a bottle of rum, maybe. With a label which says fortune.
Oh,
And
it's that lucky beer. or
Uh,
whatever.
shortly after, falls through a a receipt telling you how much you have to drop into the portal to pay for it, and that it will, in your encounters, it will bring you fortune, but it will not mitigate the effects of drinking, alcohol.
Just hand that to Crunk.
Even better. Oh.
So, mechanically, what that stuff does is you can take up to 3 doses of it before it runs out. Every time you drink from it, it will increase your crit range by 1 in both directions. So, you will crit on 20 and 19, but you also will crit fail on 1 and 2.
Oh.
No.
The effect stacks.
Oh.
Does it? I'm
Wait,
assuming
what?
it's not permanent.
It is not permanent. The effect does stack,
How many
though.
drinks does it have in it?
It has 3 doses in it. However, there may be more if you really want more.
I'm just saying you can drink 10.
Yes, and it's either crit success or crit failure.
Got a
Nothing in
50.
between.
Well, 9, because then 1 through 9 is fail, 10 is nothing, and 11 and onward is great.
You might as well just flip a coin.
It basically does do that. It turns your d20 into a coin
Oh, I love that.
with a surprisingly high chance to land on its side,
Yeah.
That's
being the 10.
I really like that item. Mm.
we can hold on to it. Obviously, we don't need it right now.
Also, following through from the collar is another Dragon's Breath potion.
Ew. Just gonna add that to the pile.
How many do we have?
1 now.
Hmm.
Okay, because I know we each used one, so I wasn't sure.
And the last one to use one was Crunk, and that was the
Oh.
last of the ones that we had.
That was cool.
All right, and then another potion falls through. Labeled Potion of Dark Eyes.
Hmm.
Single eyebrow.
Wait for the receipt.
The receipt falls through, explaining that this will give you the truest vision in darkness, magical and normal, surpassing all forms of darkness, dimensional, magical, and everything. So, magical darkness, anything, you can see through it. However, do not drink when near any reasonable light source or greater.
So wait until you are very, very dark, then you drink it.
Yeah.
Don't look at lights.
Okay then.
What is it? Oh, right. So, yeah, Lucian's just like, which of the two of you want this? I already do that.
I have dark vision already.
I mean, I have dark vision, but this is like
It's like ultimate
Dimensional
super A
dark
plus
vision.
double rainbow dark vision.
Actually, Yin, hold on to this for me.
yeah, that's what I said.
Yes, definitely.
Make sure to put that in your inventory. Have it written down.
Yes.
I am
Okay.
taking it out of mine right now.
All right.
Okay, so what is it called?
I got it.
Potion of Dark Eyes.
Okay.
And then one last potion is transferred over, which is a Potion of Elemental Affinity.
Okay, what does that do?
The Potion of Elemental Affinity will align you to the next source of elemental damage that you receive,
Ooh,
Um,
yes.
giving you not only resistance, not only immunity, but actually recovery when exposed to it. However,
Is this
it will make you weak to another element appropriate to the element that you have
Pokemon rules.
Yeah, basically, yeah. If you pick fire, then cold will actually deal extra damage against you for the minute duration of the potion.
Okay.
Oh, okay. It's only a minute. Okay.
Yes, it's not permanent. You're not just permanently a fire dwarf now.
It's not interesting. I want permanent potions only.
You want permanent mutations that'll just...
Yes. I'm gonna be a god. Might as well start somewhere.
Okay.
Oh, that's brilliant. So all we need to do is accidentally have an enemy like, oh no, we dropped it. They drink it, and then when you hit them with something radiant, then I hit them with something necrotic, and they explode.
Explode.
What is the opposite of psychic damage? Would that just be like normal damages, like slashing, bludgeoning, and all that? Maybe.
No, it's like.
If so, that would make Crunk
I think it's
stereotype
super
rules
broken.
where you're only hurt by yourself.
Because Crunk deals a lot of normal damages and also deals psychic damage.
Mm-hmm.
That would be really, really brutal.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, they've got, what is it, bludgeoning damage and like force damage. I would assume it would be
Maybe force damage.
Yeah,
That
force
actually
Yeah, force. Okay.
that sounds right. Force damage is opposite of psychic.
Okay.
That makes
I don't
sense because it's like magical touch. Wow. Terrible explanation.
magical touchy.
We don't talk about magical touches right now.
Yeah, we should actually figure that out. That's interesting. Quick, we need our D&D Pokemon charts.
I'll make a table if it becomes necessary, but I don't think it will. Because I like to not worry about the exact details of how these potions work until you drink them. Like the dragon breath potion, where it's like, hey, we're gonna sit down and figure out what element you are, and I had a lot of fun with that. So I want more things like that.
Oh, I have a great idea, actually. I'm gonna write a quick note and drop it through the portal, and the note says, "Does it work as a poison?"
But the note would come back saying the effect takes place if the individual drinks the entire thing, no matter who it is or how it's applied.
Okay.
With the exception of it becomes inert if it's aerosolized. If it's steamed, into the air, it can't be transmuted through the air. And it becomes inert if it's dried out.
For a second, I thought you meant if it was carbonated.
Carbonated.
I was like, oh.
No, don't you know that Steve makes all of his potions carbonated?
That explains the
A lot
wonderful.
of high fructose corn syrup.
Okay, cool.
That's why his health potions are the best.
Pretty
They are
good.
good.
High fructose corn syrup and the carbonation. All right.
Okay, my list does.
Who
Any
wants
other?
to hold on to that ring?
Oh, I can put it in the bag, I suppose.
Oh, that makes sense. It's a treasure. Tell Steve he's a treasure.
That's a
Treasure,
good question. Can I put it in the treasure bag?
No, it is like a useful item. You'll have to hang on to it. It's basically sort of it's not a bag of holding, it's a ring of trading. And if that is all that
Actually, yeah, I do want to see if he has a bag of holding already.
he does actually. How many? Actually, no. He sends a note that says, "How many do you need?"
4.
You get 4.
Didn't we have one?
We have
Wait.
1.
Yeah, you have 1. So,
then 3.
yeah, you have
We
3.
only need 3.
Yeah, he sends 3 over to you.
Okay.
I still want 4, actually.
Are you gonna give one?
Why not?
I don't trust you, but yeah, okay.
I'm gonna put it in your other bag of holding.
No! No!
No, please don't do that.
I know.
No.
What,
No,
you
that's
guys
what the bag of
don't want to create a
devouring
black
is
hole? I
for.
thought we were evil.
You're supposed to put a
But I
bag of
want to
holding in a
live
bag
for
of
it.
devouring, or vice versa. And things happen.
I don't want to unmake
When are we
existence.
gonna get a deck of many things?
Have
No.
have
Aw.
have
Do
you
have any decks
ever?
of many things?
If I give you a deck of many things, it is going to be rigged. There is only
Rigged?
like
How?
every single card will be predestined and assigned. Have you ever seen Assassination Classroom?
Oh yeah.
Okay, you know what happens to the moon in that show?
Yeah.
That would happen to Earth if you put the bags of holding inside of each other.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, that's what I assumed. Although worse, actually.
Yeah,
I
actually,
assumed
probably worse.
Because the moon is kind of small.
So is there anything else you would want to do before returning to your tailors? Any more interactions with Steve or I don't know, sending out letters or anything else? Yeah? All right.
No,
Yeah, the weekend
Wonderful.
hey,
was
Steve.
They have some fantastic goodies for you then.
Mm-hmm.
They offer to Lucian the Dragon Mask. And this is the template. If ever a game is run again in this world, I will always run them as in the future from this campaign, and that is what Dragon Masks are in this world. You don't get the Dragon Breath, you get the Frightful Presence. When you get you get basically the thing that fits that Dragon Mask, because this is scaled armor that gives you breath weapon.
Oh.
Yes!
Actually, Red Dragon scale too.
Yeah.
I'm curious what that does.
And so you will get, if you go to the Dragon Mask and find the Dragon Breath ability there, copy that, and that is what you have. For the Red Dragon version, of course, that's what you have out of that armor. Other than that, it's regular scale armor, but you can absorb that into your new armor, making you resistant to fire and having the breath attacks in your innate mimic armor.
Mm.
There you go. And
If you want to
Crunk.
use part of that or whatever.
you get your sword back.
Okay, quick
Mhm.
question. +1 bonus to AC, is that in addition to the...
Because of the way your armor works, the AC and the abilities are not attached to each other. Your ability
So-
to set what kind of armor you're wearing is independent of the abilities that are attached to it.
Okay, so I get +1 to my current AC.
No, ignore the AC. Ignore the AC stuff and just
I don't get the...
yeah,
oh, okay.
ignore the AC stuff and just you get the abilities of the scale thing, and you can make your armor, look and be scaly. But it is still your AC is independent of whatever armor you've absorbed.
Okay.
It's just the
okay.
abilities that you're stealing. And Crunk, they deliver back to you your sword, which they have taken bits from the dragon and used it to increase your connection to the sword. So what this is going to be now is that when you kill an enemy, they will pass through your sword temporarily, and you'll be able to ask them a question. You'll be able to speak for them momentarily before they die.
Fuck yeah.
You still nab them permanently if you roll a crit, and yeah, that's what. And whenever they enter your sword, temporarily, you may roll an additional d20 to try and secure them. Beyond the attack. It still requires a 20 to be able to secure them, but you get a second chance.
Damn.
And, sorry, I keep forgetting of the many things I was thinking of because I'm thinking of 3 different magical items plus a bunch of potions. And also, it's moved up to a +3 weapon.
Oh.
Holy crap.
It was formerly a +2. I really want to get across that you are all becoming very epic and powerful, and I gotta prepare an item for Denise for when she returns. But you were all quite
Level 9,
dangerous.
right?
Yeah, you're 9 currently.
Wait.
I have a currently with attacking with the Whispering Blade, I have a +12.
Jesus Christ. That's a lot.
Yeah, but also be aware of the creatures you may be fighting shortly.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them will be having an AC that is 25.
Because the damage is 2d6 plus 12 slashing if I'm raging.
That's awesome. Alrighty. That is the stuff that you got. Because I cannot help myself give you fun magical items.
We're not complaining.
Oh, and Lucian would go to Emil and say, have you completed the item I requested?
Remind me of what that is?
You know, we were talking about the outfit. The one where you crushed up all the dragon scales and made them into, like, diamonds.
Oh, yes, the outfit. Got it. Yes. Well, no, not yet. Because we're essentially having to turn these extremely tough scales into a putty to be able to work them into the materials, and we're still hammering away at them, trying to break them into pieces. So that'll take a bit. In fact, actually, if we're going to be working here, may we have some resources to improve our equipment? This is the first time I've needed it. However, I do need a diamond mortal and pestle right now to be able to break these things down.
Okay.
Let's see.
Yeah, let's pull out the ring.
Do we have that?
Let's reach into the treasure sack, and do I get a diamond mortar and pestle in my hand?
No, you don't have. They don't have one of those in there, but they definitely have the money for you to be able to have him buy it, or have it made.
There you go.
Yeah, very, very easily.
Have fun.
Basically, what you do is you just give him a large diamond, and he'll go have it made out of that, and the person that makes it can keep the diamond dust that is scraped off.
Good deal. Everybody wins, really.
Yeah. Can you think of it? I really would like to, if you're all interested, I would like to revisit NPCs that were interesting, that we talked to on your journey to this point in the story, and who maybe have been, left behind because a lot of stuff was going on. Is there anybody particularly interesting that we wanted to talk to?
I mean, we had in the Dwarven City, Kane, who is the artist.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, we still need
to get that done already.
Yeah, we definitely need to get that painting. I would want to talk to Scout.
Right. Scout,
yeah,
for sure.
Definitely. And anything else before we get started on doing those things?
I'm just looking at our list.
Krunk never took notes because Krunk played stupid.
All good. It's all right.
Wynn isn't exactly book smart either.
But now that I am, I don't have my... I should take the keen mind feat.
I'm wise.
Not me.
You're wise enough to know that you should probably keep a log, but not smart enough to actually do it.
That describes me in real life too.
I'm smart enough to
me
realize
too.
I should have kept a log, but not wise enough to start one now.
Unfortunately, one of them has been.
One of us has notes.
Ever since the whole Sebastian thing, has been taking notes about everything.
Oh yeah?
Everything.
What do you have about me in there?
So, who is it exactly you wanted to go find? Scout, right?
Yeah, we can talk to the Scout.
All right. Well, do you all want to go on this quick little journey to the Deepwood?
Why not?
All right.
Unless, Krunk, do you want us along with you, or?
Fine.
All right.
So you all enter into taking travel by your very, very fancy carriage to the Deepwood. And there is a very peculiar sight because it's under reconstruction. But it's weird when a forest goes under reconstruction. It's basically spirits going around actively like trimming plants and then magically infusing them to make them grow, planting saplings and beginning to grow them into shapes and create natural orchards and groves
orange
in a
vests on
magically
and
accelerated way.
Hard hats.
It's
hard hats and catcalling all the females they see. Yeah.
No, not that.
Because of the nature of them, they are trying to create ordered chaos because they want it to be natural. But also they don't want a completely overgrown, ugly forest. In there, you see many, many fantastical beings, supernatural creatures, walking trees, talking animals, just pixies and creatures all over the place, moving around as if, there's nothing extraordinary going on. And Crunk, you see Scout over in a clearing, dancing around with some flowers, like jumping around, like picking up a single flower and like running around, flicking petals and seeds off of it just out into the ground, and then does like a dance, a twirl, and then ta-da! And then all of them just pop out of the ground as newly formed flowers.
Hey, real quick side note. Crunk's thing that he planted. What is going on with that? I can't remember.
It is growing. It is continuing to grow faster than you would think a normal tree would. And it's definitely at this point a tree. It's growing into an interesting tree. The wood and bark is smooth and kind of a cinnamon red, but very like smooth, as if it's got the texture of like worked wood, of like a
lacquered.
Yeah, like a table that's been like treated and done and then worn and used for years and years. So it's got smooth, worn shapes to it, even though it's still just a sapling.
Using my gardening proficiency, I would want to have taken a bit of that I could take as a sapling to bring with me.
Yeah, a little sprig to be able to. Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm gonna go to Scout and say, "This is from the seed you gave me."
Ha! Awesome, thank you. That's wonderful.
To help. It's pretty cool.
Where do you want it? Where would it look good? Put it somewhere. Where do you think it would? Where would it fit?
Well, I don't want to mess up what you already have going. How about right over here, and I'll just outside of where she was putting those flowers.
Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Here, put it right there, and I'll make sure that its roots get going. Once you place it, she brings herself down to the ground. She flies, she floats, she never touches the ground, but she's like, her face is near the floor with her hands there. She's like delicately touching at it, and her body is just kind of absentmindedly floating upward. Kind of picking at it. Like, there you go. Beautiful. Oh, and she pulls it up a little bit. It grows just a little bit so that it's big enough to not be trampled or missed. There. Thank you. That's wonderful. This tree is very, very special. And so is the one that you have. They are.
What is it? Just looks really cool, but is it really like special?
Well, it's a tree with a lot of life in it. They will always be connected, like family. They're siblings.
Are those children?
How do you mean?
Like, is it part of you and part of Krunk in the tree?
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're thinking biologically. Biologically,
Yes.
no. However, at least the way I see the world, yes. Spiritually. I think in a way that matters more than biologically.
I'm cool with that.
Congratulations, Krunk. Child. Kind
I
of.
mean, it took literally 0 effort, but okay. Do I have to do anything special, or do they do anything special, or?
I think that the connection to something living like this is fairly special on its own, don't you?
Yes.
And she floats over in front of Lucian, slowly like twisting around so that she's upside down. I think you're all putting a little too much stock in this. It is, as much as I love them, it is, just a tree.
That's what I thought.
I don't know. I don't know how you
Well, we
do.
She reaches forward, still upside down, grabbing both of your cheeks gently. Relax. It's okay. Don't stress out about it. It's okay.
You've seen us every time we've ever been together.
That's fair.
But,
I mean,
okay, I just. Okay.
She's just like, you keep getting flustered over things. It's okay.
They think we are in love.
I don't know. Could be. You two are adorable together.
It's really weird, though.
She
Right.
she continues to push at the sides of your mouth, forcing you into a frown, because from her perspective, that's a smile now. you are so silly and charming.
Nature's confusing.
yes.
Yes, it is.
And she
Eh,
twists back around to be upright. Well, yes, it is. It's confusing and mysterious. If it all made sense, I don't think it would be very much fun.
Very fair. That's a great point. That's a good.
No, it's definitely not. No, knowing how everything is ordered and how to work in that system is wonderful. It's how it worked for growing up.
You know a lot of people, right? You know a lot of
Yes.
people.
a lot of people.
Oh, yes.
And I would say that the people you have least control over in this world are the people you like the most. Like indicating towards Win and Krunk.
Like,
You have a lot of control over the world around you. But the things that are most out of your control are the ones closest to you.
Trust the most.
oh, that's so accurate. You vex me, and I like you for it.
I like you too for it.
So I would kind of pull Scout aside and I would say, okay, listen, I have a confession. They all act like we are something, and I didn't think it was a thing, and I don't know if you thought it was a thing, but I felt like I needed to tell you that it's probably not a thing because there is somebody else. And I just wanted you to know in case it was a thing.
Our perspectives on the world and everything in it are very different.
That's what I thought.
I don't see the world as having barriers and lines that way. You're a friend to me. And you are a deep friend to me. And other people are a friend to me that are more deep or less. I like you, and you're a good friend.
That's how I felt. I just needed to make sure. Okay. Now that it's weird, take care of our tree children, I guess. I'll take care of mine.
You need to you need the same advice as your friend here. Just relax. Everything's okay.
I just killed a dragon yesterday, and I'm just still like really high about that, and I kind of want to do it again, but I'm trying not to, and so it's making me all weird.
It's all right.
Want to kill a dragon again?
I mean, if you have one.
I'm sure we can find some.
I haven't talked to your other friend very much, so I'm gonna be right back.
Okay, yeah.
And she whooshes over real fast, sitting cross-legged in midair next to Win. Hi. Hey.
Yeah, we didn't meet that first time, did we?
No, we didn't. What kind of stuff do you like?
Let's see. I like parties, and
Do you drink
That's a great question.
wines?
Definitely. Although I prefer mead.
Mead. What is mead made out of? I believe honey. Yes.
Honey. I think that's the one that's made with honey.
All right. Well,
right?
Give me just one moment. She zooms off very, very quickly, and
Very
then
quickly.
returns, just almost appearing out of nowhere. She moves very, very, very quickly. Just holding a messy handful of bright golden honey. Here. It's just dripping like off her hands. Just no container or anything.
Can I reach into the bag and see if there's like a cup I can use?
Yeah, you can get like a golden bowl or something.
Okay, yes.
There you go.
Okay. It's golden like the honey. Okay, I actually make alcohol, so I will make mead with this.
Wonderful.
Is it magical?
Well, it's deep wood honey, which is it's the most purest, most essential and perfect.
It'll be magical tasting, basically.
Well, it depends what else you put into it. It might be a bit magical, yes.
So much love.
I think that's the best kind of thing to put into it.
All right, that's a great idea. And that's probably what I'll do whenever we get back to the castle, is just like immediately start brewing. Because I do have proficiency.
She then moves over to Lucian and like holds her hand out toward her honey-covered hand just towards you. You want some?
Yes. Oh, thank you. Actually, I have a great idea for that.
So, just to explain, she's given most of it to Win. It's just the stuff that's left sticking to her hand. She doesn't have like a handful of it. She's just like, do you want to lick my hand?
He's going to gingerly scrape some of it off into a vial. I actually have a wonderful use for this.
Krug, do you want some?
I'm okay.
Okay. And through an act that is only possible because she is a partially incorporeal spirit, she shoves her entire left hand into her mouth. And begins to wave as she heads off to go help with other restoration projects. Was that fun? Or was that...
That was a good
Oh, I hate nature. Oh. You know what?
Nature is fun. You should get used to it.
Yes, but no.
That's a wonderful idea, and I will take it entirely under advisement.
Yes.
So we should go get our painting.
Yes.
Alrighty. I assume you take the plaza for that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Wonderful. Alright, so you appear again in one of the main central kind of intersections of the Dwarven city. The Great Dwarven Hold within their mountain. Wynn knows her way around the city. However, this is an enormous city, and she can probably find the right district, maybe? But
where are we going? Oh, right, the painting.
Get the painting.
Yeah. Finding your way there is not going to be perfectly simple just on your own. You can totally do that, though. I want to hear that interaction, though.
Hey!
Oh,
hey. Excuse me. Can you help us find the
Kane.
painter Smith?
His name is Kane.
Kane.
Oh yes, the artsy. Okay, so you go down those golden halls, then take right at the flints, and then left down there. Go up the corridor, 12 stories. Then go down left towards the east, and then drop down the elevator shaft down to floor 25. And there you should be able to enter the Osmium Court. And then from there, you should be able to find his house. It's some penthouse up lifted on the wall. That's good?
So she started writing all this down on her hand, and when she ran out of hand, she just pretended to write on the air until he stopped talking, and she was like, "Okay, thanks. I think we'll find it."
Thank you. Have a good day.
Then started walking. So I'm gonna say that we followed approximately 4 or 5 of those directions, and got about halfway there before we got lost again.
Yep. So unless anything else is done, you all find yourselves in what feels to be this kind of it's like someone took took a bunch of castle turrets, just the towers themselves, and hung them from the ceiling. So you're walking along the ground, and hanging above, about 20 feet above you, are the roof/floors of several buildings made out of this dark gray stone. And you can't currently see a way to get up there.
I thought we were supposed to go down. I feel like we're not supposed to go up there.
This whole place confuses me.
You said how many feet? 20 feet up?
Yeah, 20 feet above you is the bottom/top of these upside down towers.
Are there people up there that we can see or anything?
You hear the muted din of people inside their houses.
Yeah, that's a great idea. So, one moment, and Lucian's going to float up.
All right, so you come up to just a random person's bedroom window.
No, he would go to the door.
Oh, okay. So, to do that, you would actually have to go all the way to the top of these things, which you are capable of doing. And up at the very top, you find these walkways that interconnect all of these towers and carry on to the outside of this large cavern. And so you see that carries on a path onward.
Makes a bit of sense.
You see that this point has several different directions it goes. Those pathways go to all the different towers, and then also a tunnel out north, another one east, another one west, another one south. So this is also sort of a crossroad. But you apparently have come at it from the wrong angle. Because if you come at the right angle, you would have been up on there in the beginning.
I guess knock on a door.
Couple seconds pass and door opens. Hello. You hear the din of maybe like a dress party or something going on inside. People talking, having drinks. Hello.
Hello,
What can I help you with?
Sorry to bother you. Believe we got a bit turned around. Do you happen to know how to get to floor 25, the Osmium Court?
Oh yes. Well, actually, there might be a bit of trouble. You gotta go down below. You see down there, and he just like points over the edge. Gotta get down there. To do that, you're gonna have to go back through that tunnel over there.
No, just start from down there. Actually, that'll be the easy part.
Okay. So you gotta head over. Head east. Down there, there'll be. It looks a little bit hidden, but it's this kind of. It's this very, very fancy kind of a natural geometry stuff. You'll understand when you see it. But head down that way, and actually just follow. There's a set of flags that are gonna be set up on the wall that'll get you to the right area. Once you get in that tunnel, you'll be good. Just follow that. That'll bring you to this big open court area. There'll be a lot of residential houses. These kind of penthouses set up, some of them on the ground, set up inside of the stalagmites. And then there's a bunch of houses on the walls and on the ceilings attached to the stalactites. So yeah, just get that tunnel, follow the flags, you'll get to it.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, have a nice day.
You as well. And he'll just lean back over the edge. And float back
we'll
down.
like look up and we'll see him floating back down, and I'm like, okay, I guess he found out some directions.
Lands. Right. We need to go east. There's a hidden-ish fancy natural geometry thing.
Oh, okay. And then we'll just I'll probably know exactly what that means.
Yeah, and so basically what you find is this set of boulders and rocks and stuff that, looking at it from one angle, is just a pile of rocks against a wall. Like, it's a perspective trick. Of you look at it from one angle, it's just a pile of rocks. You look at it from another angle, and it's this like grand entrance into this tunnel. It's all the bits that are, look like nonsense from one side. You look at it from another, and they all line up into this beautiful symmetry, bringing you into this tunnel, which you go into, and it's kind of one of those tunnel bridges. You see out the windows down into deep crag and caverns below, but you see those little green flags that bring you to the court, and that is a very large residential area, all very, very fancy housing, and you're able to now recognize where you are. You've been here before, and follow up the stairs up to Kane's house.
Have you ever considered maybe we could have a second home here? It's lovely.
I mean, if you want.
It's interesting because Wynn is one of the only people of the party who truly appreciates it, but also is the one who's least impressed by it.
Well, I mean, I've been here. It's a lot harder to customize. Like, it takes longer.
Walking up to the house, you see that it's got these big, wide double doors that have the grain of wood, but you realize it's like petrified wood because it has grain, but it is definitely stone. And you see these thick marble, kind of clashing colors, marble knocker set up on the door.
Knock.
Knockers. Look, you set me up for your own Frankenstein. I can't avoid it.
He takes a bit, but Kane finally opens the door. He says, "What? Oh, hello. Yes. Welcome. Come inside. Come inside. I've gotten lots done while you've been gone. I missed you at the ceremony. Very busy. You were all very, very busy talking to very important people, so I didn't really have an opportunity to get a hold of you.
Oh goodness, we would always have time for our favorite artist.
You flatter me. Anyway, I do have a lot of work here for you. So I have taken a pic of a few of my the ones that I would like to keep and sell, and a few from my own collection. But I have an entire array here for you. So here we have what I would call pure realism. My attempt at the exact lighting and situation of what was going on when I recorded everything. And it was my template for future versions. So there's that one. Then I have one attempting to take in more the idea, so, the impression itself. Obviously, you see some of you get smaller, some of you get larger. Different, the proportions aren't quite realistic, but I think it gets more the idea of who you are and the presence that you give off. And I've got.
Oh, I'd love a description of what that looks like.
Yeah, no, I can do that. So Win kind of loses a little bit of the kind of dwarfish stature that she has, and becomes a bit more, just slightly more humanoid in her proportions. Kind of that bit of what would I say? Kind of rugged movement and coordination that dwarves have in this world is kind of pulled away, allowing her to be more elegant in the way that I believe, or at least he believes she sees herself in her mind. The more laid back, less stiff way that she acts as opposed to the way she looks. Crunk is larger, but also more pillar-like, kind of giving the idea of not a rigid person, but a sturdy person, a dependable and unbreakable person. Not focusing as much on his strength, but on his resilience. The idea of an unbreakable pillar upon which all other reside, and he actually shifted his position in the painting. In the original painting, he was on the left, or it would be stage right, basically, side of the painting, because he kept wandering off. This shifts him into the center of the painting as a focal point that everyone else is kind of revolving around, pinning themselves to. Lucian is standing, or is literally leaning on Crunk, as a person would lean against a wall, literally an arm crossed, his cape flowing in a way that is not physically possible. It literally stretches down and takes up a quarter, the left corner of the entire painting itself. It becomes the carpet and the tapestries on the wall. It just flows out as being part of the world and the scenery itself. His again, similarly, the furls of his cloak and the collar stretching out and melding with himself and the patterns on the wall, being more outwardly regal, but also outwardly more hidden. Both behind the scenes, but also everything. And Denise is she is doing a similar sort of thing of being kind of a part of everything, but as if you see where she was standing and there is a literal mark of roots and plants that have sprouted where she was standing, but she is no longer standing in that spot. And you can see the trail of where she has stepped as her footsteps leaves marks of flowers and roots and plants where she has stepped and walked away from the scene and climbed up the wall and is now hanging joyously from the wall. And you can see that everywhere she touches, every second she is there has created more nature. Where she is hanging on, the candelabra she was on has now extinguished its flame and now sprouted flowers instead. literally a fruit's hanging down from the unnatural architecture of the room. That's my description.
I love it.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
And
Your perception is fantastic.
I have other more experimental projects as well, more impressionistic, more basic geometries, and I've got more extreme colors, abandoning everything that is dark or gray, and giving more extravagant colors, giving the pigmentation of your skin, Lucian, almost fruit-like of a bright color, and just everything, every single one of you and everything around, just the idea of a dream, just so fantastic and sparkling that it's not real. It can't be, but I feel that it grasps a different aspect of you, and many more. So take your pick, the ones you would like. All of these here are for you to take. Your impressions have been more than enough payment.
Oh, goodness. No. We are going to absolutely additionally pay you. This is wonderful.
Yeah, this is great. I love it.
These are the kinds of works that empires are built upon.
Actually, if I were to ask for payment, what I would ask for would be exclusivity. If I can say that I am the only painter who has ever done your works, at least as long as I live, that would be pride enough. I would get my choice of any works I would want. Any subject or icon that I would desire to paint would plead for me to be their painter, if I were the exclusive painter of yourselves.
I mean, I don't see why not. We can offer to let him live in the castle too.
Oh, that's a brilliant idea.
Or at least set up a studio nearby.
Yes, how would that sound? An official patronage, even.
As much as I like my home, we are a bit remote. The Dwarven Hold, I'm easily accessible to my kin, but there are so many other great wonders in this world that I am removed from. As far as I've seen of the maps, your castle is much more central.
You're gonna love it.
And you'll have a lot of models.
Absolutely. You can have models for
Anything.
your heart desires.
My only concern is I've never seen your home, and so I am concerned. As you can see, my home is a bit wondrous, and
We can replicate it.
Like, trust me when I say you are going to love it.
then yes.
You know what? Yeah.
Do you want to visit first?
Actually, yes. You know what? Why don't we take a visit? And you can tell us what you think.
Well, I must deliver these paintings to you anyway, so yes.
Yes.
Here, take your picks, and I will have my couriers take them. They are especially trained in carrying these very, very precious items. I work with no other in that area.
What do you all think? Would you like that one, or I don't know, all of them?
I think all of
First
them
one's
sounds
my
good.
All of them, yes.
We'll
Very
get to
well.
Oh, yes.
Second one.
And yes, in fact, let's package them up and let's take the quick way home.
Mm-hmm.
What would that be, sir?
We'll package it up and follow us.
Yes. Yes. I didn't know you were on your way, so I wasn't able to make your stay a bit more pleasant. If I'd known, I would have sent a guide.
No, it's fine.
Oh, it's perfectly fine.
Yes. All right.
He's got legs and eyes.
And within the next 15 minutes, he's got them all packaged up. Each painting, they're quite large. Like, they are, some of them are 15 feet tall. He has one particular one, like, they were specifically supposed to be the grand painting, which is enormous and about, like, 30 feet tall.
God.
It's this just enormous wall-spanning piece. You see the scaffolding that he used is like off to the side.
Do we need the big one?
And so, but even like the little ones, like the ones that are only, 3 feet tall, they're just these enormous bricks of essentially styrofoam once they're packaged up, because he wants them to be well taken care of. So they're just these huge blocks of stuffing to keep them from being damaged.
Right. That one is going to need to go the slow way, unfortunately. But the rest of them.
My couriers are prepared for anything that throw them. We literally hire mercenaries to protect my shipments when they need to be sent along their way.
Call.
Perfect.
In fact, I might get a double order on that one, considering the value of this item. Considering who is painting and who is being painted, this piece is worth a small village. Or a medium-sized village.
Medium-sized village, huh?
But yes, let's. I'm ready when you are.
Come with us then.
Alley ho!
In fact,
Silver.
we're going back to the plaza.
All right. This way. And a train of couriers follow you, carrying all of the paintings. It's just like a line of them following.
So excited! Oh my god! Okay.
And yeah, you arrive at the plaza.
All right, everyone, gather in as much as you can. Anyway, this is going to take about an hour. So settle in, get comfortable.
All right.
And when you feel the tug, go with it.
That's my motto.
And yes, that you're transported there. Actually, you see that before you leave, he does send off a message, like hands a message to one of the couriers, and then takes the painting himself that courier was holding. I've left instructions for the transfer of my equipment if that's what's going to happen. I have little doubt in my mind that I will be taking you up on your offer. And yes, you are transported back to the castle with around 40-ish paintings of yourselves.
That's a lot.
That's a lot. Well, he's had a lot of time to be working on them.
We must have been very inspiring.
Yes.
I mean, I guess he literally said that, so.
All right. Well, now that we're here, where would you like them? I have a bit of an eye for finding my piece's proper place, so I would like to advise, if you don't mind.
Well, let's walk through and get your eye on things. Oh, it makes sense. The bot's down. Okay. And so, yes, and we would start walking through in no particular order.
Do you give him any like advisement on like, hey, okay, this is this room, we do this kind of stuff in here, or
Yeah.
Armory?
Yeah, this is our army, this is our library, this is the throne room where we sit. And he's like, okay, well, unfortunately, the ceiling is a bit too low. Else I would want to put the grand painting perhaps above your thrones.
Oh,
I just
okay.
go like I just go like this a little bit, and
Yeah, we just all just
we all just all kind of go like this. And it goes, whoop. And it
Better.
definitely makes that sound.
Oh my. And you can see, like, a lot is going inside his head. It's not just being shocked that you can do that. He's just all of a sudden rethinking how interior design works in his head. Oh. Oh dear. Yes, the grand painting there.
What kind of lighting would you like on it?
Minimal. A muted skylight if possible. Yes. Yes. I have the personal paintings, the single paintings. I would assume you'd want those in your bedrooms. One of you each personally independent of the group. Those 4. Take them.
We're all just sort of like at the walls, and like 4 doors open up, and you can tell which room is which.
your entrance. Not your entrance, your personal entrance. What is the way you personally enter this building most commonly? Not the common people entrance, your entrance. Where would that be?
The plaza, I think.
The plaza. Okay, this painting here is the warm one. The one, the painting of memories of returning to home. You see? Yes? Of the comfort of returning to home. That one belongs in the plaza. And this one, I believe, this one's a bit more undetermined, undefined yet. It could be sinister, it could be comforting. This one belongs in the common entrance, so that all may get their impression but not be sure yet. And so, yeah, he spends as long as you can bear him talking to you, advising you on where to put these things.
Lucian has literally days.
By that time, the grand painting would arrive, and that can be placed above your thrones. The lighting is set so low that people wouldn't be able to tell what it is until they've been there for a little bit. Like, they're standing there talking to you, because if it's instantly obvious, they're just going to go, oh, wow, those people are vain. Whereas they realized it after they've been talking to you for about 10, 15 minutes. Then they are like, oh, wait. Oh, wow. That's them. That's impressive. And so, like, he considers every single painting that's placed there in the way that they will be seen both by you and by other people. That, you know, what impressions will they give? What ideas will they inspire? All kinds of stuff. Like, literally, there is a sinister painting placed in the armory to just let everyone who enters there know, you better be here with our permission. Or you'll be in trouble. Oh, yeah.
This is great.
You have a bunch of paintings.
You have a bunch of paintings of ourselves.
That's amazing. Oh, we are so egotistical, and I love it.
As well, he has transported over his personal collection of paintings, since he definitely will be staying here, to add to all of it. And these are a massive variety. He definitely is into setting up a gallery, but also placing his paintings around. And once he's learned a bit more how this castle works, he realizes that as long as they're not being observed in the same, like, in the two places they belong, his paintings can move. They can belong in a hallway, and if no one's in that hallway, they can go to the gallery. And realizing that his paintings can be in more places than once, more than one place, as long as both of those places aren't being observed at the same time, and the castle can make sure that is never happening. So yeah, he puts his stuff around. So every single painting is technically in the gallery, but also in the place that it belongs in the castle as well.
This is amazing.
Now, about your workspace.
Yes.
And I'd say that they just go to an utterly nondescript blank room with, like, no windows, no nothing in it yet.
All right. It
Talk
needs
to
to
me
be
about your workshop.
bigger, first of all. Absolutely bigger.
And basically, as he's talking, it's just going to conform to what he's saying.
Yes. Which way are the nearest mountains? I need a good view. Inspiration.
Which way would you like them to be?
That wall. A big window. Yes. And yeah, and he just describes, like, I need this stuff, and he brings in his tools, and he composes also a list of materials, his pie-in-the-sky materials that he wished he could have had for his paintings. You know, asking for shells from far-off places, and clay stones to make, you know, red pigments, and all kinds of things. Yeah. And you now have, as far as you're aware, the greatest painter in the land now lives in your castle. And he is not, so as far as, like, describe how he interacts with you, he's not doing his, once he's kind of gotten over the jitters of first meeting you and painting you, he is not as thank you very much for the raid, Legends of Eventris. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This
Thank you.
painter is not so much in awe of you as most other people. A lot of people are very, like, kind of grovelly and get caught up in the courtesy stuff and don't come out with actually what they want to say. And he gets past that and is now, like, that level of eccentric that's almost even rude, of, like, stopping you in your tracks. You're going somewhere, he's like, hang on, don't move. And then pulls out a pen and pencil and begins to, like, or a pencil and, like, begins to sketch out a bit of your face, and then just walks away. He's like, all right, good, thank you. Like, he's going around it, and he is not, you know, he'll take your sketch if you're like, hey, I want a painting. And, you know, he'll take your sketch to be able to paint you in the future, but he generally lets his inspiration guide when he's actually going to do stuff. He's like, okay, yeah, you want a painting? I'll get to it when I can. But mostly he just wanders around the castle going, okay, this is wonderful. I'm going to make a painting about this now. And then goes, you know, a month without making anything. And then, you know, later the next week has 5 different partial sketches ready for you to take a look at.
That's great.
That's brilliant.
Does he have people come to the castle to see him and, like, commission paintings?
Yes. However, at this point, because of your patronage and because of his new stature due to being your painter, he turns a lot of people down now. A lot of people he would have done, you know, some general or another who's, like, important, but he doesn't care. You know, it's just like, you're just a general. Don't go get some other painter to do your portrait. I can do better. I only accept kings and queens. You know,
awesome.
he takes his
And
pick.
occasional gods, I suppose.
Yeah, and he goes out and finds the people he wants. He sends out letters and says, hey, you, come to the castle and I will do your portrait. Drawing in all kinds of things. And begins to do, I would like to say, a couple notable, basically historic paintings about the Mimic Knights. He puts up kind of a portrayal of the victory and battle, the kind of almost cataclysmic looking scenario of your war. You know, a city floating in the sky, thunder all about, creatures erupting from the ground, the land spontaneously turned into a desert. A battle, you know, from within a dead beast that comes back to life, fighting a great mage that shoots fire and rips pieces of other universes out to throw them at you. What other scenes particularly? I'm thinking and now these things are things that only you have witnessed, so you'd have to relay them to him, and he wouldn't paint them if you hadn't.
That demon?
I was about to say that. That's a thing that no one's ever seen, but if you relay it, he would definitely paint it. He would have the demon's defeat. The demon sitting there, blade stabbed into the ground, kneeling before you. You know, a great beast, taller, stronger, mightier, and more powerful than any individual one of you, but submitting to the Mimic Knights completely. Literally, you see the the being holding its soul in its hand before the Mimic Knights. An array of demonic-like creatures. Some of them tieflings, but some of them, poetic license, more demonic creatures fill the no longer cavern, but great, dungeon castle place. Like this demonic place that never existed, but, arrayed with beasts, all of them kneeling, begging for life.
What about the Tonberry fight?
I'm going to need that in a dining hall for an evening at one point.
Okay.
It's in the gallery.
Yeah, it's wherever you want it to be.
I would love the was it the Tonberry fight where we threw it into the...
Yep.
Yes, into the keeper.
It would be cool if it's just like a painting of all of us and we're all just sort of like, and like it's just a thing in midair just being magic missiled.
He does 2 paintings of that one. First, he does one called the Push, which is the summation of the Mimic Knights' force, all of them together, working together to get the Tonberry pushed in. This thing that is small and just everything. You see that everything in the painting looks fairly realistic, although a little bit dreamy. But the Tonberry itself looks like it's out of place. It's all it's an entirely different art style, dripping paints that every stroke is way too much paint, so it drips and drains down it. It emanates the danger that is in this small creature. And then the second painting he does is called the Defiance, which shows the Tonberry standing in the room after having been struck by the attacks, standing, not dead yet, standing there with its blade out, ready to fight, even though it has been brutally struck beyond what any other creature could sustain. And showing the balance of its defiance with also the Mimic Knight's defiance, still ready to continue to fight. Not, and in the painting, not fearful of anything, still ready to take it down. Because in his mind, you've always been this powerful. He has no perspective of growth in this area. He sees you as being just these semi-divine beings that have always been this way.
I would want a painting of the time that I swan dove into the pit.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then he was throwing the axe to me, and I'm catching the axe in midair. Yeah.
Yeah, it shows a sidelong view with this extreme contrast. So the pool of water is obsidian black with bright white reflections across it, and you can be perfectly seen in it. Your mirror image can perfectly be seen in the water with no visible disturbance across it. And you in the air as the singular source of light. In the painting, it is more you that shines rather than the axe. And you cast all of the light. Every single thing that is illuminated in this painting comes from the light coming off of you. The black walls, the perfectly black water, and just the slight muted light. You can barely see it, this green silhouette. Or this black figure silhouetted in green, reaching out just underneath the water.
Is that me or the fish?
That would be you.
Okay. Just making sure. Yes.
Also, the very little you can see of the fish, they're not medium-sized piranhas. They're more like giant barracudas. Yeah.
That's how it felt.
You see these enormous creatures moving about in the water. No discernible beginning or end to these creatures, just the water itself has teeth.
Noise.
Lucian would want to commission one very specific piece. The piece of grand victories. With things like all of their big victories in the forest and becoming family to the dwarves and winning the war and defeating the different flayer types and leaving an intentional blank space for the future.
Does he
That's exactly what I was thinking. So what he does is he paints a mountain, showing a sort of path. Basically, the way up the mountain morphs through these different scenes, showing, a clean, pristine forest, showing the kneeling of the dwarven kings and queens, showing the scenarios of victory and triumph and growth. And the painting not only has a blank spot, it literally is not painted. It's an empty space. The top half of the painting is just not done. No bit of paint has touched it. You can see just the off-white canvas behind it.
Perfect.
And actually is a show of what he foresees. What is painted takes up maybe the bottom quarter of the painting.
Oh. Wow.
That's a lot to live up to.
Yes.
We've
I
got
like
time.
it, though.
We've got time and a glass spire ahead of us.
Right. All right, we have indulged some hubris for a bit. I like it.
No kidding.
I'm definitely gonna. I mean, this is like for the future, but Denise, Wynn is definitely gonna want like a painting of herself with like some like Halo-ish kind of deals and like my new symbol that I'm gonna have on my armor. Because like I'm assuming the older paintings don't have that yet.
That's correct. Actually, one last painting he would be doing if you told him of this would be of Sebastian. But he doesn't know it unless you tell him about it. I mean, he knows that Sebastian exists due to the whole commotion of the missing name and all that stuff. But the more raw details of the scenario is you're the only ones privy to that information.
Lucian would relay that.
It's a picture of his boyfriend.
Let's paint a selfie.
I would probably also want a painting, but like I guess I would probably try and make it something of us when we were kids. Like I guess it would only be an artist's rendition because I'm not gonna remember exactly what he looked like as a kid.
Well, so for both of these paintings, he would go to your family, and he would do a long, like month-long research into your family and genealogy. Literally doing, since he doesn't know what Sebastian looked like, he's looking up what your ancestors looked like, finding in his mind, the ideal traits that your family genetics carries. Idealizing Sebastian as the greatest of this dwarven family. Borrowing icons and
greatest.
and constructing this. As well as he also does have some smaller reference paintings, some very early ones of Wynn's family, like lined up for a family painting.
That's
very young. In that painting, Wynn is like
dwarf
2 years old or something. And he paints for Wynn's personal one, it shows Wynn like running around. They're in like a grass field, and there is the notable stuff. There is a tree and a rock, and Sebastian is seated on the rock, picking away at some stringed instrument, and Wynn is playing and dancing, just kind of moving in a way that is most definitely attached to the music. The impression that it gives is the idea that it's not necessarily that in this one moment she sat down or she made herself be still and danced a bit to some music, but more that Sebastian played a tune, and he set a rhythm and a melody that continues to be the rhythm to which Wynn exists. That this is the music of Wynn's life that continues on, played by her brother from that moment on.
Oof.
My heart. Oh.
And the one that's sort of for Lucian, sort of for everyone, is the idea of him at the exact age and look that he would be at the moment of painting, is the idea. A collection of the traits of ancestors of notable individuals, all ones related to him, borrowing from his living like sketches that are made from his living family, and then spending hours and hours reading and hiring a band to play and recite everything that is recorded that Sebastian made, as far as music and poems, and listening to it all, and creates this stance of the reverse of what happened. A showing of a blasted, destroyed wasteland, with Sebastian standing as the prominent figure, taking up 80% of the picture, 80% of the frame. But a vision that everything else in the world is gone, destroyed and forgotten. That one thing is remembered, one thing remains after everything else disappears. It is this one singular figure. The one unforgettable individual in the world.
Oh my God.
All right.
Damn it, I wasn't expecting to be brought to feels again. All right, cool. That was unbelievably good descriptions. Holy hell. Wow.
Dang, this was supposed to be a fuck around and do nothing episode, and you made me like, ugh.
All right, let's take a break then. Let's take a little break, and we will be back shortly. Thank you everyone for listening to this silly nonsense session that we're having. Love you all for being here. See you in a little bit. Okay, so I made a mistake. We were just talking, and actually, I think that's where we might end the session. We all were just kind of having a lovely moment, and I think that continuing on to anything else might kind of actually ruin that. So this session is the session about paintings and clothes, and I think that's pretty good.
And one sword.
Really.
So I'm gonna go find someone to raid real fast while you all say who you are and where people can find other things that you do on the internet, because I'm sure that they want to find those things. Yeah, you go.
All right, yeah. So, hey, I'm Thanrand, and I'm Thanrand everywhere on the internet. You can find me on my own channel, twitch.tv/Thanrand, every other Tuesday, and then every Wednesday and Thursday night around 6 p.m. Central Time. And I'm on Twitter constantly, so if you feel like seeing my bullshit, then follow me there. Also, I'll be on this channel Friday night with the Waterdeep Dragon Heist game with Kevjack.
Awesome.
And well, last week was a pretty big one. And I'm very excited to go forward. See, my character died, and I started a new character.
I didn't.
Spoilers.
Oh
Yeah.
God, it hurts so bad.
And it was. Oh yeah, I found a way to twist a knife with it, and it worked out perfectly.
All right, Capjack, while you got emotions high, who are you?
Hey everybody, I am Capjack, or at Captain J Cross on the Twitters. You can find me all over the place here at Welcome to the Party. Of course, I'm here on the second, fourth, and fifth Tuesdays with the Mimic Nights, and the first and third Tuesdays with our Eclipse Phase game. You can also find me here on Friday nights on Dragon Dark Days with Thanran there, where, you know, he is a jerk that does terrible things to our emotions. Oh, it was so good. I'm so mad about it. It was so good. And then on Saturdays, I am in our Vampire the Masquerade set in 1943 game.
Oh, yeah, no, it's 3. You're right.
Yep, it's 3. Where I play Ivan, a Sabat Zamitsi. So, yeah. Along with, you know, Shogun here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, come find us, watch all the games, and yeah, good times. Let's say
yeah.
And our wonderful dwarven cleric. Onisama-chan. I do know how to say it now.
Onisama-chan. Follow me at Mimic Sama-chan on Twitter. I'm very rarely on, I think. Follow the Discord, because that's the fun place. And then you can find me here every Tuesday. I play this game. I play the Eclipse Phase with Capjack, and then I'm here on Wednesday nights in the late game, starting 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, with Welcome to Codiset. So yeah, we just got our classes, and I'm a fighter, which is new because I've never been a fighter before.
Nice.
So that's super exciting, and we rolled to get friends. That was interesting. Anyway, yeah.
Nice.
That's all the things I do.
All right. And I am Shogun, Shogun117 on Twitter, and I run this game every second, fourth, and fifth Tuesday, Mimic Nights, the 5th edition game, where we do nonsense like get clothes and have paintings commissioned, and that's it. And oh yeah, and also go visit our spirity tree girlfriend for a little bit.
Oh yeah, our collective girlfriend.
Yeah.
And I also run Shadowrun, which is every other Thursday. And I play in the Pokemon game that alternates on the other Thursdays. I'm also in the Vampire the Masquerade game, as Capjack mentioned. And yeah, and I'm prepping a session. It just got fully announced. I'm going to be running, I believe, at every other Sunday, 5th edition Destiny Homebrew.
Excellent.
I've put a lot of time into writing those rules. I've got like 20 pages of homebrew rules to make it work. It is pretty crazy. I don't think any of my players are watching, or the people who'd be spoiled. So I'm gonna say, for those who know about Destiny and how it works, to make the whole players thing work, because immortality makes a D&D game kind of not very exciting. I exploded the Traveler to make the lore work. The Traveler's just exploded and gone.
Oh.
So all of their powers are now on borrowed time, kind of Dark Souls-y, where they have to collect bits of the Traveler and burn them up to be able to get their powers back for a little while.
That's a good idea.
I like that so much.
You understand, I lived in Destiny for like 3 years. Like, oh my god.
Where are you running this?
On the Alaskan Blue Jay Twitch channel.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, it's pretty fun. I've also added several playable races. So you will be able to play as Fallen, Cabal, and Scions. Yeah, so all super cool, and see you next time I see you. Yeah, super excited. We're gonna go raid Laugh Love Lindy in just a moment. And yeah, so thank you everyone for watching. Love you that were here. Thank you very much for the raid, and we're gonna go out right now.
Love
Bye everybody.
you all.
Bye.